because the man causes irrationality. For some reason, all revolutionaries cause irrationality. And some of them don't speak to each other. People I called in this room, they don't. That's why I said some of you that side and others. But I call him because I wanted to provoke some of you. Because the revolution for me is always that those who are oppressed cannot tolerate each other, but can tolerate the oppressor. And I want to force you for unity to be in the same room with people you dislike. Because the wars in the world are caused by our fear to confront things. Because we comply, we conform, and there's death in the world. And the descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Ishmael are still fighting. Thousands of years later, because we don't want truth. And everybody who's here, I call them not because my book is perfect, precisely because it's imperfect, written by an imperfect person like you. And I want to remind you how many black people you hate when you can shake the cock's hand. How many of you don't speak to each other in this room, but you speak to apartheid killers? And so I thought, let me force you to be in one room as we rethink what we've done, what we're about. But anyway, Mr. Zuma, I'm called a Zuma lawyer. And I wanted to introduce this man because I write about it in the book. There's actually part 3 in the book, which starts by the chapter called Zuma, the Man You Thought You Knew. And many think I'm writing about him because I don't know his faults. I do, just like I know your faults. And I call it that because I think I want us to rethink how we judge others and how we judge each other. Because I've been disappointed about justice, that we think it's the exclusive preserve of people we like. When actually it's the exclusive preserve precisely of those we don't like. Because our friends always get justice from us. So the test for justice is how we treat those we don't like, those we despise. And so I'm going to call the president, and I appreciate the fact that you're here, and I've forgiven him for causing me trouble. Half of you here don't like me because of him. Ngathi kuye masiqala hey yazi msholozi windaba uyahlupha, you cause trouble, and the trouble is because you are a mirror to most of us, and most people dislike you because they've forgotten their own crimes, they've forgotten their own faults, they've forgotten that they too, in fact, worse than you, have betrayed the cause. And most people who hate you, as I saw when I started representing you, it's people who've complied with capital, who've conformed with capital, who've been made and given shares in companies of our former colonizers, and they've become conformists. And I'm grateful that you came. And I've told people in that chapter, you're not a perfect man. No lawyer represents a perfect person. No one who's perfect walks into our chambers. You won't walk into my chambers to invite me when you get a Nobel Peace Prize. You will come in because you have trouble. And our job is to represent those you dislike. And this man called me in 2017 because everyone had left him, his comrades, and everybody. He was losing power. And my parents, my sisters know, we were taught not to look the other way when people need us, even if they are despised. And Tatem Ruth, lastly, you're sitting to my mentor, Tokyo. He taught me, I was his speech writer. But before I called the president, the priest talked about many things. I want to challenge all of you because you're going to be going to church. why I represented this man and why I'm going to call him. You're going to go to church on the 16th, 17th, and 18th of April, Easter. And most of you will be celebrating the man who I'm sure his historicity we cannot doubt, even if you're not a Christian, he existed. Put on the cross next to him, a criminal, and on the left, another criminal. Freed is a thief whose name was called Jesus Barabbas. We are not told that his name was Jesus, but it was, take it from me. And from that day when the Jews called for Barabbas to be freed, the thief, we've been calling thieves to lead us from that day. We've been freeing Barabbas. We are led by thieves, we are led by conformists, we're led by people who've betrayed us. And that's what you will see. We've been freeing Barabbas every day. But I thought I should just tell you, because you are all mentioned in my book, all of you, either by name or categories of people. You are. Some of you are great revolutionaries. Others are traitors. Others no longer know what they are. And others are friends. But there's friends here as well. And each one of you. But let me tell you, we're not always activists, and that's all we do. We live with people who are ordinary, that we live, we walk past. And those people, sometimes when you are at your lowest, are there. Well, you read in the book that I talk about all sorts of things, including how many of you have been sick? Right? When you're sick, you tell nurses that you will wash yourself until you can't. Where's Nest in Swallow? That nurse, in the book, I don't know how they found you, but Nest in Swallow is the nurse who prayed next to me the whole night thinking I was dying. So she's here. Yeah, sure. I realized I was dying because I woke up at 12 and she had something like a rosary. And she knew I was dying and she was praying, and I tried to tell her to leave and she didn't. And she had knocked off at 4, but she was still with me at 12. And I knew I was going. So thank you.